Beautifully singing boys have been always admired by many. The 17th and 18th century marks one of the most fascinating and dark chapters in music history. The art and sacrifice of Castrati. Hello and welcome to our next edition of Music Discoveries. From the middle of 16th century, these most pure and angelic-like sounded soprano voices had a prominent role singing at Catholic churches, operas, and courts across Europe. But how did the boys retain their high notes and the unique tone quality? Well, they had to be castrated before their puberty. The castration meant cutting the boy's spermatic cord, crushing the testicles, or removing them completely. To ease the pain of castration, hot bath and doses of opium were given to the child. The inhuman procedure was done with surgical instruments called castratori. Despite of the large number of boys being castrated, just in Italy, roughly around 4,000 a year, only a small percentage of them became successful singers. Those selected few lived in splendor, conquering with their voices both hearts of men and women. Farinelli was the stage name of Carlo Broschi, one of the most celebrated castrato singers of the 18th century, known for his impeccable vocal technique, charm, and sensual singing. He was admired by many, especially by major Baroque opera composer George Frederick Handel, who, despite his fascination with Farinelli, never had a chance to collaborate with him on any opera of his. It was known that with his expressive singing, Farinelli could touch your heart and make you cry. What made castrati singers so special was their high and flexible vocal range, with an extraordinary ability to sing long, dramatic coloratura passages. Because of their huge lung capacity, castrati singers could also sustain notes for an extremely long period of time that made audiences simply to fall in love with them. The rumor says that castrati were also great lovers, capable of moving emotions on and off stage. Accepting expensive gifts from their admirers, castrati grew rich and in demand. Beloved male soprano voices were a big part of church liturgy, both singing the top choir line in polyphonic church music as well as solo performances. Particularly known was the male soprano choir from the Sistine Chapel in Vatican. One would think that castration of the boys was not aligned with the doctrine of the Church, and it would be considered as a sin. But despite the cruel procedure, the Church was still welcoming them. Many attempts were made to ban the castration, but it was not until 1902 when the Pope Leo XIII finally put the end to the tradition, allowing only 3 existing castrati to sing till the end of their career. Thus, the last castrato, which was heard in the Sistine Chapel, was Allessandro Moreschi, who died in 1922. He is the only castrato singer known to have been recorded, but unfortunately these recordings made in 1902 and 1904 don't give the just to his voice. It took a long time for women to be singing at opera and church, but at the end of the 19th century, female singers were taking over the music written especially for castrati. In opera, women had equally portrayed both women's and men's parts, often dressed as a boy. The so-called pants roles are being still performed at the opera houses today, although some men's characters are sung today both by disguised women or by countertenors, like in one of the Handel's opera, Giulio Cesare. One would ask what is the difference between countertenors and castrati singers. The countertenors are not castrated male singers who developed and sing only with their falsetto voices. They don't possess the same singing capacity as castrati did, but they are the closest resemblance of them. Today, as Baroque opera is being revived, more and more new unknown compositions are being recorded and performed. Please enjoy my interpretation of one of the most difficult arias from Opera Griselda by Antonio Vivaldi, Agitata da due venti. On the personal note, I hope that the sacrifice for art and music is behind us. I wish the history of humanity will not allow us anymore to take an advantage of poor kids that were mutilated for dreams of others. Thank you for listening, and I hope to see you soon.